So look, I'm pretty sure y'all might have heard of the 100 men versus a gorilla, one singular gorilla, right? Now I feel like a lot of people have been underestimating what a gorilla can do and what it's capable of, and like even by just looking at the stats and shit. Like I know 100 people is 100 people, but I mean we're also talking about a gorilla too, like you know what I'm saying. But I think the reason why so many people are underestimating what a gorilla can do is because it ran from a Canadian. You know what I'm saying? That's just one gorilla, bro. That's just one. If we really look at the stats, a gorilla standing on all twos, or not all twos, but like 2 feet, can be up to 6 feet. I think the tallest one was like 6'5" or some shit. And then their like weight and shit is like anywhere from like 400 to 500 pounds. And the bite force is double a lion, bro. So I don't really know, bro. You know what I'm saying? But look, we're gonna react to a video real quick talking about the whole situation, bro. Comment down below what you think. Personally, I think humans would win, but it would be like near to the end, like, cause I mean 100 people, I don't know. I think if you see somebody get their skull bashed in, bro, you not like your energy, everything just gonna be different. Like you not gonna wanna test that nigga, bro. But yeah, we gonna see what the video saying.
So recently, all of social media has been blowing up with the debate of one gorilla versus 100 humans. The funny thing is that everyone seems completely divided onto who would win the fight. One side thinks that the gorilla would pull a Winston and just completely thrash the army of humans with ease, while the other side believes that the sheer numbers would let the humans just beat up the gorilla like it's Naruto. But who is actually correct? Is a gorilla versus 100 people?
Bro, and look at the motherfucking teeth on these motherfuckers, bro. Look at the teeth on them, bro. Like it's not like you know, like when gorillas fight, I'm gonna show a video after. But when gorillas fight, bro, they like, it's not like they like fight with fists. Like, well, they do, but like they fight and bite too. Like they don't play fair type shit. So I'm sure like you not playing around with that bite force of however the fuck how much it is.
Well, actually a fair fight, or is it actually a stomp? Does the gorilla win, or do the humans? Let's find out. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's jump right in. Now, to begin, I think it's important to establish both sides of this fight. For the gorilla, we are assuming that this is essentially the strongest gorilla possible. Of the 4 gorilla species, easily the largest and strongest would be a silverback eastern lowland gorilla. At the absolute largest, gorillas can stand at over 6 feet tall and weigh between 400 and 500 pounds, with the largest ever being about 600 pounds or even beyond.
However, see, y'all need to fight that motherfucker, bro, and really see what happened, bro. Y'all might probably win, but like gorillas got really thick skin too, so you got like, I really want to know what y'all gonna use to really like, cause y'all can't, it's not like y'all can stomp out a gorilla. That's impossible, bro. Like we got to be realistic here, and y'all not allowed to use weapons or nothing.
This fails to capture how a gorilla's overall proportions drastically exceed that of a normal human, with a wingspan of over 8 feet, drastically more muscle mass, and far less body fat.
Bro, wait, hold on.
Wingspan of...
Holy shit, dude. Yo. 344. See, like, it's like when you think of like grown men strength, bro. But like gorillas just born with that shit.
Over 8 feet, drastically more muscle mass, and far less body fat. In comparison to the peak gorilla, the group of humans will be made up of 100 average people. There will be no boxers, nor MMA fighters or athletes, and instead it will just be 100 totally normal people with totally normal physical stats.
Nah, I definitely think that the gorilla gonna feel overwhelmed, like people were saying. Yeah, I mean, like it's like 100 people, but like, I mean, if we're putting up against like average Joes, I think they getting mauled.
With there being an equal number of men and women. Now, technically, average height and weight varies somewhat drastically across the planet, so for this video, we'll be taking the stats from just Americans when possible. This means the 50 men in the group will be on average 5'9" and almost 200 pounds, while the 50 women in the group will be on average 5'4" and 170 pounds.
By the way, it's only 100 men, not 100 women, so we gonna act like he didn't say that.
Now, to be fair, Americans are kind of fat, so ultimately using the statistics of a healthier nation doesn't change these values very much, or the outcome in my opinion. Still, either way, the gorilla is going to be far larger than any single human, exceeding them in height by a couple inches and being casually twice the weight of the average man. Also, just so we're all on the same page, this is what 100 people looks like. It's
okay, so we got to do some scouting right now. Look, so this is 100 people in a room. Honestly, I thought that 100 people would look way more. It looked like way more. I guess when you have them like close together, it doesn't look like that much. But The real thing is too though, when you have 100 people fighting at once, it's physically impossible for you to get like a hand on the gorilla. Oh, let me mute my phone real quick. But like it's like physically impossible to get a hand on the gorilla. Like I think it's gonna be like 10 to 15 people that are actually fighting the gorilla, and then just niggas in the background waiting to get their hand on the gorilla. But then you see somebody get they skull punched in, bro. Because bro, with the punch force of a gorilla, it's enough to break a skull, bro. You know what I'm saying? Much less we get a gorilla that can probably fight for real. Send you a little liver shot, you're dead. You're done.
Definitely not a small group, but it's also not a massive crowd by any means. A lot of college lectures have more people than this in them. With that being understood, who wins this? Determining the true strength of a gorilla is incredibly difficult for multiple reasons. Firstly, gorillas ultimately are not a predatory species, so in comparison to something like a bear, a wolf, or any of the big cats, they rarely, if ever, go out of their way.
Bro, I did see somebody say that they can fight a polar bear. You gotta be fucking stupid. Polar bears are way stronger than a damn gorilla, bro. So the fact that I think this also did determine how like stupid a lot of people are, thinking that 100 people could take on a damn polar bear. That's insane.
To attack humans. Secondly, unlike for humans that will willingly do experiments to test the limits of human strength, doing the exact same thing is almost impossible for gorillas because they're not just going to do a bench press for a couple of bananas, unfortunately. This forces most, if any, estimations of gorilla strength to be just that, estimations based off of their bodies and the very rare instances of strength that we have seen
What
from
the
them.
fuck?
Thirdly, there is a lot of hearsay and misinformation regarding gorillas, with most online sources claiming completely different stats for what gorillas are actually capable of. Finally, a lot of info about gorillas that does exist is oftentimes really old. The biggest issue, though, is that inconsistent information. For example, one website says they can lift 1,800 pounds, while another claims they can lift more than twice that at 4,000 pounds. Things get even more wild when these resources put it in terms of humans. Some claim that a gorilla is 8 times stronger than an average man. Another claims that they are 4 to
Bro, obviously, I think they just need to do the shit and we'll find out. But obviously, I think it's 100 times stronger, bro.
10 times stronger than a human. Another source claims 12 times, with
Than
another
an average human, bro. We're talking about an average human, bro. An average male.
that gorillas are a whopping 20 times stronger than a human. Clearly, the only consistent thing agreed on here is that gorillas are stronger than humans, but this much variation in number between sources is enough to say that these numbers are completely made up or very unsubstantiated. So let's look to what actual researchers have said about gorillas, or what we have
Like,
actually
look at that shit. Imagine, bro. Cause look, right.
enough to say that these numbers are completely made up or very unsubstantiated. So let's look to what actual researchers
Bro, imagine this motherfucker coming at you, bro. Look, the thing is with gorillas, they don't attack unless they feel like threatened or provoked, right? So obviously, like, I feel like it's gonna feel overwhelmed because it's a lot of people. But at the same time, a nigga try some shit, that shit gonna fight back for sure. Now imagine it charging at you like this, bro.
said about gorillas.
Like, bro, come on, bro. What the fuck is he gonna do, bro? You can't uppercut that motherfucker or swing a right hook. You know what I'm saying? You need niggas jumping on his head, but even then, like, it's still not gonna do shit. Y'all just on the gorilla, but y'all not really damaging.
Actually seen them do in real life. Consistently, gorillas have been seen uprooting thin banana trees, shattering protective glass, and have broken human arms in brief attacks. Smaller and weaker primates like chimpanzees have shown feats of strength 2 to 3 times stronger than that of a normal human, around 800 to 1,200 pounds. Given that chimps are less than a quarter of the weight of a gorilla, suddenly the 4,000 pound claims look slightly more valid and would approximately make them 8 to 10 times stronger than a human being lifting wise, though strength and weight don't exactly work like that in a 1-to-1 ratio. Clearly. Looking back to older information, the statements get harder to verify, but could also be potentially more legitimate, as these were real interactions in the wild. We have accounts from 19th century explorer Paul Chalu recounting gorillas snapping and bending metal guns with their bare hands, or even an older account from explorer Andrew Patel that recounts that 10 people were unable to pin a gorilla down. Finally, we have more speculative calculations around
that too. I've been seeing niggas saying that, but they gonna get on top of the gorilla and hold its limbs, bro. Its limbs is one of their limbs alone is probably like 4 times to 5 times stronger than your actual strength. So what the fuck are you really gonna do, bro? You get what I'm saying? The most it's gonna feel is just overwhelmed, bro. But y'all can't really damage a gorilla. I seen niggas say they gonna poke out his eyeballs and shit. Nigga, come on, bro. Let's be for real.
Things like gorilla bite force and
That
punching
motherfucker's
strength,
biting
which
you.
is incredibly difficult to calculate without, having the gorilla punch something that actually measures the force. Still, even the most lowball calculations put the gorilla's strength at around 881 joules of force, with the highest being 3,660 joules of force. In comparison, humans output only about 74 joules with their punches, which would make the potential difference in punch power anywhere from around 10 to 50 times. I don't think really speed is something we really need to talk about here. It isn't like other power scaling topics where either side is a blitz difference faster than the other or anything like that. Gorillas and humans are simply comparable in overall speed, with the gorilla being a bit faster in bursts of muscular power, though such speeds aren't exactly sustainable. So overall,
I think we need to talk about the momentum though. Fuck the speed. That motherfucker build up momentum, come into your ass, bro, and bam, hit your ass with that 3,000 pounds or whatever punch force he got, bro.
gorillas are stronger, larger, heavier, and more powerful than multiple humans combined. Either way though, are the humans cooked? Let's get into it. Now, in a 1v1, 2v1, or even 10v1, I think the gorilla could pretty easily take it. From everything we've seen, from historical accounts to estimations, a gorilla may legitimately be around 10 times the strength of average humans, making all of these random articles potentially correct even if they were just yapping. Single strikes and bites from a gorilla is going to be breaking bones of whoever is unlucky enough to be in range. As they tend to do, they can also easily grab, lift, and pull around any human they manage to grab. Furthermore,
That ass though. Really think about that shit though. If a motherfucking gorilla grab you, right, and he managed to just ragdoll you, and he starts using you as a weapon towards other humans, bro. Really think about that shit, bro. Because if it can lift up to 2,000 pounds or whatever 4,000 pounds it could lift, nigga, the average American human is like what 200 pounds. Well, average male, nigga, you're cooked. Bro, he probably gonna go akimbo on your ass and just start swinging that motherfucker, bro.
most attacks from a human are simply not going to legitimately harm a gorilla, the difference in the basic lifting and punching power being so immense that the person punching the gorilla would probably hurt their hands more than the gorilla's body. But as the number of humans increases towards 100, things get worse and worse for the gorilla for multiple reasons. Firstly, fatigue. Gorillas are not used to, nor are they really built for long, drawn-out fights. Most conflicts between gorillas only last a couple minutes at most, which is actually true for most humans as well. But while the gorilla might tear through 20, 30, 40 people, boom, there are still 60 humans the gorilla has to beat in order
Yeah, look, I think over time, like the gorilla's gonna lose. The gorilla's gonna lose, and just the simple fact that it's 100 people, and it's gonna feel overwhelmed, but it's gonna get through at least like 70. I say 70 before it gives in.
win. Secondly, in this fight, strategy and coordination genuinely matter. For this fight to even happen, we kind of need to ignore the concept of fear for both sides.
See, this is the
If a
shit
gorilla
that
saw a group
this is the shit that people were saying that they easily walk a gorilla because of this shit, bro. There y'all go underestimating again, bro.
of 100 humans, they are very likely not going to attack and just run away. On the other side, if most people saw a gorilla beating up a dude, they're not going to jump in and help out. They're also running away. With that being said, if both sides legitimately want to beat the other with full conviction and no other options, 100 people can pretty quickly coordinate to absolutely bum rush on the gorilla, who simply would not be able to
Look, and that's totally understandable. But what do you do? Is my thing. What do you do because the gorilla skin is so thick and it's so like muscular and strong, and that bone density? That's another thing too. Like, what do you do when you do rush the gorilla? Cause then that nigga feel threatened, might pick up on y'all niggas and start ragdolling y'all, hitting y'all and shit, bro. That's my thing.
to attack every person at once, even 20 people at once. Which brings up the third thing, weight. For as strong as a gorilla is, especially a potentially tired gorilla, is simply not strong enough to hold off the weight of a coordinated group of humans. At the mid-end estimation of 1,800 pounds, even just 20 200-pound humans would be able to pin down a gorilla, with the only claim to the contrary being from a guy born in the 1500s. Would people get hurt and probably be killed in this effort to pin him down? But again, there are 50 dudes all prepared to do this, let alone the 50 women. But pinning isn't enough. The gorilla would need to be defeated, and even without tools, humans should be able to actually hurt gorillas. While human punches are far weaker than the apes, human kicks are overall far stronger. It can range from over 3,000 to over 4,000 joules, which is actually stronger than gorilla punches from a pure energy output standpoint, as crazy as that sounds. So while yes, one guy randomly kicking a gorilla would probably do nothing, several dozen people all kicking at a gorilla's head while he's already pinned down would eventually take him out. So yes, 100 humans could beat a gorilla. If gorillas were truly a threat to literally 100 humans at a time, there would be far more stories of gorillas actually, killing humans, while we have stories like this for elephants or bears. So bottom line,
Yeah, bro, I seen somebody say that they could take on an elephant as well. 100 men versus an elephant, bro. What? Y'all just setting yourself up for failure, dude. Or no, I think it was a rhino or an elephant. A rhino, the nigga just playing bowling with y'all. He having fun. That's a field trip for him.
and is this: humans most likely win, but you don't want to be at the front of the crowd when you're staring down a silverback.
Honestly, look, the way you gotta strategize it is y'all gotta surround the nigga. Y'all can't even be like the front line. It can't be no front line, cause that nigga just he probably gonna barrel through y'all. I think it's more so y'all gotta surround the nigga, and then just start attacking there. But whoever in front, really whoever in front getting bit and probably hammered and shit. So yeah.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you to my members, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.
But yeah, though, look. Comment down below what y'all think about the whole situation or the whole debate. Personally, I think that humans will win, but at a very large cost. I think it's gonna be a whole lot of injuries for one. Niggas gonna be missing arms and teeth. But I think it's doable. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, but to all the people that were saying 100 people could defeat a rhino or an elephant or a polar bear, whatever it was, y'all tripping, bro. But love you guys. If you made it to the end of the video, I love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget to subscribe. We're on the road to 1K. I love you guys. I keep saying I love you. I really do love you though. Peace.